Yeah, and the reason I brought this up is because there are, because of the conduct, devotees' ability sometimes to go up and down vary and change. So someone who has little children, then they know that it's, you sort of cut the cloth around, what their lifestyle and their needs are, which sometimes doesn't facilitate the type of sadhana that one would have when he was a brahmachari. So our aspiration needs to be to continue advancing, despite the fact that when they actually then go through these different types of obligations, it's just part of life. You can't get around it. Srila Prabhupada accepted that sometimes young mothers are not going to be able to chant the rounds. Sometimes it's like that. But that's just a phase of life, part of life. How is the overall picture? How does the individual maintain? So that's why sometimes individualism, that's why it actually really requires a community strength, because of one's own personal habits and practices, it's just under too much time. And that's why others, the presence of others, the inspiration of others, the goodwill of others, the spiritual strength of others actually helps us continue going forward and to pick up our own momentum. And then of course our aspiration is to see, to keep in the forefront the model of ideal Vaishnavas. But getting there is not an easy thing, and it's not a one-man show. And that's why Srila Prabhupada sort of started temples and Krishna consciousness. Because alone we're not going to do it. And that's why we're talking about community. Because it's not just a matter of bringing people together just to get some result. It's because the individuals in the community are going to have a real difficult time achieving that type of perfection and following the role models on their own. They need that. It requires a real communal support system for that. One is what a community has to offer, because a community has a lot more to offer than individuals. And then of course within that, there is actually friendship. One thing that we started in is the state council system that they've been that they do in Chopati, that they've been doing in the Manor, and down in the London area, which literally speaking is just organized association. Counselor, a senior devotee, meeting regularly with 10, 12 other devotees on a weekly basis, or at least every 2 weeks, and in the meantime, engaging in service with them, having them come to the temple for a Sunday program to do service, take up service responsibilities, and being in regular contact, the counselor with the counselees with each other, in order to progress forward. And then they talk about philosophy, practice, issues that come up in their personal lives. So systematic, structured association amongst brahmacharis, amongst grihasthas. It's really a must, and then that's also a right. You want to, and it's a right and it's an obligation. You want to be part of this community. You have to be part of, for instance, that's what our communities are. You want to be part of the community, you have to be part of the council system. Otherwise, how will we have anything in common? So once again, we are part of a educational and a training process to help us actually be like that, to be advanced. It just requires more than just people struggling on their own. There needs to be the greater good And then now that reminds me, for instance, last year, our Rath Yatra, the temple had nothing to do with managing Rath Yatra. Sunday programs is no longer the devotees of the temple to organize it, it's all the devote community outside. Different councils take responsibility on different Sundays, and they organize the cleaning, they do the cooking, they organize the Sunday feast, they take responsibility. And now we're doing like the Walligan, which is a big gala function. And so having more and more, and that then becomes you could say it's a responsibility, but devotees take it as like a real privilege, as like a real right, that they also have the ability to actually do service and do different types of services. And it spreads the mood of ownership. It gives more ownership to it.
Are they answerable to someone, say for example, someone's organizing or something? Are they answerable to a local body or something?
You set up what body they may be answerable to. It doesn't have to be a temple body, it may just be a body that's comprised of the community body. But they're answerable, everyone has to be answerable, there has to be what's the defined goal and how we're going to achieve it, and they have to be flexible in all ways, financially, manpower, etc. And they also have to need the facilities as well. Obviously that has to be provided, just like anybody else, just like you do it when you're talking about quote-unquote full-time devotees, and devotees, it's nothing new. It's, like at the manor you've had Janmashtami, Sunday programs, and devotees in the temple are not the main movers there, and that's been going on for 20 years. So the more that sense of ownership of the mission and responsibility and other activities is being farmed out, the more the sort of ownership and the responsibility of Krishna consciousness comes in, so that you actually just have a community, because actually that's what you have, a community. And a temple is one part of the community. The community is actually the greater identity.
I was just thinking, in your experience, we ourselves in our community here and other communities, we spend a great endeavour to go out to try and get people to come along and be part of the community, either as a congregational member, or living outside, or maybe inside. But what do we need to? Sometimes you find that people will come along to the temple and they'll be part of things, and then after some time maybe don't come along anymore. So what facilities do we need to provide, or what things are necessary, functions? So if there's nothing going on at the temple, because sometimes we're going out to try and bring people here, then there's nothing really going on here. What facilities are necessary at the temple to inspire people to keep coming along? What is necessary?
We need to discuss that and see. If you discuss it amongst each other, but particularly you have, number one, there's our spiritual activities, we have social